Os. Welcome UNLV students to the Shotokan Karate Studies program. By now you should know you've already warmed up, you've gotten the warm-up that you feel your body needs, you're adequate for starting the program this morning. So let's go ahead and get started with our typical, quick, general warm-up. Ready? And Hajime. Ichi. Ni. San. Yon. Go. Alright, warmed up good there. Let's turn to the side, bring our heels to our glutes. Good, alright. Let's go ahead and do some high knees as well. Get my workout recorded. Here we go. High knees. You can do this slow, just like I'm doing. Again, just bringing your knees up. You can do it fast if you feel like kind of bouncing a little bit, working your calves a little bit. Or if you want to go slow, go slow. And yame. All right, let's come up on our toes, stretching out our calves. And yame. Very good. All right, let's go ahead and do some body hip twists. And yame. Good. Arm up, across the side, stretching out our shoulder. Good, other side. Again, don't hold these too long. Just doing dynamic stretches here. Nothing too static, nothing being held for too long. Switching over. Other side. Good. Feet just widen shoulder width. Go down, touch the floor. Go to the right. Back to center. Go to the left. Back to center. All right, make that a little wider. We're gonna go down to the right, turning up on our left heel, stretching out our hamstring. Good, now we're gonna turn to the left in a long front stance. Pushing on the quad here, pushing the knee over the toe. And now to a runner stand, or a runner stretch. Good. Back up. All right, we're gonna do everything to the other side now. Leaning to the left onto the right heel. Toes pointed up. Stretching out your hamstring. All right, let's rotate that all the way around. Good front stance, long, deep, pushing on the quad, pushing the knee out over the toe, getting a good stretch. Transition that into a runner stretch. And come back to center, come back standing. Good. Turn around, fix your gi. Back to me. Yoi. Subirachi. Free. Yoi. Seiza. Dojo-kun. Stotsu, Jinkaku Kansei ni sto muru koto. Stotsu, Makoto no michi o mamoru koto. Stotsu to ryuku no seishin o yashino koto. Stotsu reigi o omanzuru koto. Stotsu keiki no yu o imashimoru koto. Ready? That's it. Yoi. Subirachi. Ready? Yoi. Today's class is an intermediate class. And what we're going to do today is focus on the Kata Heian Yondan. And what I'd like to do is run some drills that we're going to pull from the kata, and then we're also going to do the kata. So this isn't a breakdown or a bunkai or anything like that. So this is basically, we'll do the kata, all right? Normal speed and pace, or sorry, we'll go slow, all right? So slow speed. Then we'll do a drill that we're going to pull from the kata. Then we'll go back to the kata again. We'll do the kata in a different way. So we might just do stances, right? So I might just go through with stances. Then we'll go through another drill. Then we'll come back and do the kata at a regular speed and pace, okay? And then we might run through another drill, or we might move on to another kata. So again, intermediate class, this is probably looking at orange belt, green belt, blue belt, okay? So Heian Yondan, Heian Godan are the kata that you're probably learning and focusing on at this point. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, so all that stated, we've warmed up, so let's go ahead and work on the Kata Heian Yondan. We're going to start it and we're going to go slow. All right, so you're an intermediate student, so your own speed and pace. I'm not asking you to match my speed and pace, but I do want you to slow it down for this first one. All right, so just go through it slowly. Good kime, focus on good stances, focus on good kihon technique. All right, so don't rush through this one. Take it nice and slow. Okay? All right, ready? We'll go through protocol together so we get a good starting point. Then we'll go through the kata and I will draw out a couple of things that we can use as a drill. Okay, ready? Yoi. Subirachi. Ready? Yoi. And now it's kata. Heian Yondan. All right, your own speed and pace, but I want you to slow it down. Ready? Ajime. And stop at your starting point, don't move when you're done. And yame. Okay, another thing that I want you to think about, all right, is starting point, ending point. All right, all of our kata that we go through from Heian Shotokan all the way up to Konkusho, anything you can think of, right? Typically, they're all going to start and end with you facing in the same direction, number one. Number two, within 1 to 2 feet of your starting position, your starting point. All right. There's just a few kata that are kind of out of that realm, but for the most part, that will be the case. This is one of those kata, so I just want you to think about that and remember where you started and where you finished. So for me, I started here. That's about 1 foot distance from where I started and where I ended. Okay, so keep that in mind when you go through this kata. Okay, your starting and ending point, it's going to depend, right, on how long your stances are, or how short your stances are, how long steps you're taking, how short your steps are taking, and the consistency with which you're taking those steps. So I want you to be aware of that when you're going through your kata. Okay, again, mark your starting point if you want. Put down a piece of tape, something like that. Or remember the little knot in the floor, whatever you want to do. But remember your starting point and then watch your ending point. Okay. Number one, they should be consistent. So wherever you start is where you start. Wherever you end, it should be consistently where you're ending. Okay, that's a good key point. But number two, it should be within 1 to 2 feet of where you started. Okay, so if you start here, you should be ending somewhere in this small area. Okay, and if you're not, then you need to take some things into consideration, and most likely it's going to be inconsistency with how you're making steps. All right, so just keep that in mind as we go through this class today and going forward whenever you're practicing kata at home. Let's go through the kata, or let's go through a drill. Okay, so for this kata, you actually come up and you step into this juji-uke, this cross block going down, and then you step into a maroto uke in a back stance. And then we're going to continue that. Okay, so that's going to be our first drill. We're going to start on this side, work to that side of the room, do a mawate, come back, same thing. Okay, just that cross block and then supported block. All right, back and forth. Just breaking down some pieces of the kata so that you can get some practice. Let's start on this side. Ready? All right, from here I want you to start into that juji-uke, and what I want you to do is bring that up like it's a baseball bat. So I want you to start here and then cross down to there. Back to here. Arms come up like you're swinging a bat, okay? And then bring that block down. All right, let's try that. On my count, 2 techniques. Ready? Ich, ni, son, wate. You can turn here. I want you to come back to an attention spot. Ready? Ich, ni, son, wate. Okay, good. Let's go to this side of the room and do the same drill. I just want to get a lot of practice in. So we got in 6 good ones there, right? 3 in one direction, 3 in the other direction. But again, I want you to remember that you're coming up over your shoulder here and bringing that block down, and then step with this maroto uke, this supported block. Okay, arm or fist should be right about here at your elbow, just higher. All right, that's your supported block. Okay, all right, let's go to this side. Ready? Same drill. 2 techniques, 1 count. Ready? Ich, ni, son, wate. Stand up. Ready? Ich, ni, son, wate. Amen. Os. All right, good job. Let's go through the kata again. Okay, so just stances. Okay, I know they can be difficult, especially with this kata when you're doing your kicks, right? Because you come up and you come to this position, then you do a kick, and you move over to the side, and there's an elbow strike. Okay, but you can still do that, right? You can not do the kick. You're in this position, get an elbow strike, and you come up to here. You kick, you step into this position for your elbow strike, and then you transition into this, right? But you don't step. It's just a transition to here. Then you kick, and you're in this position, this cat stance, right? All right, so just think about these techniques as you go through. No upper body. All right, so if you want to put your hands on your hips, you can do that. I wouldn't suggest you keep them in a fighting stance or anything like that, because I want you to forget that you have arms. Okay, just work on your lower body here. All right, so we're going to do the kata lower body only, Heian Yondan. We're not going to announce kata because we're not performing the kata, so on my count, or not on my count. So when I say hajime, just begin. Again, your own speed and pace. Don't rush through this, but you don't have to go to super slow pace either. If you want to watch, that's fine. Rewind, and then do it with me, whatever your preference. Ready? All right, and hands on your hips. Hajime. And yame, when you're ready, stop in position and check to see where you are, where you've stopped your kata. All right, yame, good. So here I am. I'm just like half and half, basically, with my feet on this black to blue. And again, I start out my kata on this blue square. So I'm just here. Okay. About 3/4 of my foot on the black. So again, that's maybe 6-8 inches difference from my starting and ending position. Still facing the same direction, all right? If those two things are different for you, you need to figure out why you're making, what you need to do to make a change, right? So if you're ending and you're facing this direction, well, you've done something wrong, right? If you're ending and you're facing this direction, good, but you're standing over here and not over there. So again, something's wrong with the steps that you're taking. There's some inconsistency somewhere with your steps. And this kata uses front stance, back stance, cat stance, right? There's a lot of different things that come into play with this particular kata. So those are the things you need to look at, are stepping in those stances. So this is a good reason to actually go through what we just went through, where you're just doing the kata with feet only, just your stances. Okay? Because then you start to realize maybe where you're making some inconsistent steps, short steps, maybe forgetting to take a step somewhere, all right? Okay, let's go back to a drill. Side kick, all right? So we do a really good side kick with this kata. So let's roll through that, all right? So we're gonna start on this side of the room. We'll start at Koshigamae, and we're just gonna do a side kick, elbow strike, okay? So those two moves, just like you do in the kata. Koshigamae, right? We're looking to the right. We kick, elbow strike, and step up. Okay? But instead of going to the left, we're just staying here. We'll continue down this direction. When we get to the end of the room, we'll do a moate, which will just simply be a change of hand position from the left side to the right side. And we'll go back in that direction. Side kick, elbow strike. All right? 2 techniques, 1 count. All right, let's get started. Ready? So starting here in this position. Ready? Each. Knee. So. She. Go. Don't want to kick, so I'm just going to step over one more, change position, some moate here, and go the other direction. Ready? Each. Knee. Some. She. Go. And moate. Yame. Good. All right, so I know that turning, that transition can be a little bit difficult. Just make the turn as best you can, all right? You're not in class, you're not with a bunch of people who are all trying to be synchronous, okay? Let's start on this side and go that direction and then work our way back, okay? Same drill, same two techniques. 2 techniques, 1 count. Hands should be on your right hand side. Ready? Each. Knee. So. She. Go. Like that. Stand up, hands on your left. Reposition if you need to. Ready? Each. Knee. So. She. Go. And Moate, change hands. Yame. Good. All right. So let's do the kata now for real. Okay. Exactly the speed and pace that you would go through if you were in front of your sensei. If you and I were in a dojo together and I said, show me the kata Heian Yondan, do the kata at the speed and pace that you would normally do it. All right. It's not super slow, right? And it's not fast. So don't want you to try to rush through it. We've gone through this in another video. Improving your kata is not to rush through it, okay? Don't think about getting from the beginning to the end as quickly as possible. Think about each technique and go through it, okay? Focus on being good at each technique and then make your way through the kata. Don't get through it, all right? Make your way through the kata. So that's what I want you to focus on this one. Making your way through the kata. Mushin, no mind. Okay, don't think about what you're having for a snack after this, what you're going to do for lunch, what you're going to do for dinner. Focus on what you're doing now. This one kata for 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes at the most, right? Okay, don't rush through it, but don't go super slow. All right, when you go super slow, it makes it look like you can't remember what the next technique is, and therefore your sensei or other students may question your knowledge or ability to get through the kata. So there is that fine line to walk between going really slow and being good at the kata, okay? So just think about that as we go through it this time, all right? Normal speed and pace, ready? And watch your starting and ending point, okay? This is normal speed and pace, so it is very important now that you notice where you start and where you end. Are you facing in the same direction? Are you within 1 to 2 feet of your starting point when you finish? Okay, keep track of that today. Ready? Yoi. Subarachi. Ready? Yoi. Now it's kata. Heian Yondan. Your speed and pace. Ready? Hajime. Stop in place when you're done. We're going to check our beginning and ending spot. And yame. All right, good. So, I'm facing the same direction. I'm not left or right of my beginning spot, right? I'm just in front of it. Here's where I began. Here's where I ended. That's about 1 foot in distance apart, okay? That's where you should be as well. And again, consistency. Every time we've gone through this kata, right, I'm consistently about 8 to 12 inches from my starting point when I finish, okay? And it will vary from kata to kata. All right, whenever you finish Shotokan, for instance, Again, I'll start here, but typically I'll finish, I believe, about here. Okay, so that's different from Heian Yondan, right? I start here, but I finish here. Okay, for the kata, like Basa Dai, right? I'll start here. All right, that's a very long and complex kata, and when I finish that kata, I finish about here. Okay, and I know that just because of the room layout and how often I do the kata. But again, consistency, right? I know about where I'm going to finish, and I'm still facing the same direction that I started, and I'm about 1 to 2 feet from my starting position. All right. Again, just things you want to keep in mind whenever you're practicing kata. Again, regardless of whether you're an intermediate student, right? So hands Shodan, Nidan, Sandan, Yondan, maybe you're looking at Godan. Where you start, you should be finishing within 1 to 2 feet of that area and looking in the same direction that you started. All right, for all 5 of those kata. All right, so keep that in mind, okay? So again, focus today, Heian Yondan. Let's go through another drill with Heian Yondan, okay? So for this kata, we also do a back stance, right? Where we stand here like this. And this can be a number of different things. Some people say where you're grabbing the gi, so you're grabbing here and pulling, okay? And then you're doing like a knee or a kick, and then landing with a punch and a punch, right? So that's what we're gonna do for this drill, for this line drill. We're gonna start on that side. We're gonna step into this back stance here, kick, punch, punch. Back stance on this side. Because we transition in the kata, right? From the left side to the right side. So now you're here, same thing, kick, punch, punch, all right? We're gonna go through that from one side to the next, do a turn, and repeat, all right? Let's go, ready? So from here, we're gonna, on Hajime, we're just gonna step out into a back stance, and we're gonna get your hands into position. On my count, kick, punch, punch, okay? It's a nizuki, and it's a maigeri kick. So it's gonna be 2 kihon techniques, 1 count, just like we've been doing all the way thus far with every drill, okay? Ready? And hajime. On my count, each. Reset. Knee. Reset. So. Reset. Yo! Awate. Turn, sit up in your back stance. Ready? Each. Knee. So. Yo! Awate. Yame. Good. Let's do it again. All right, let's go from this side to the other side. I think I noticed myself, you should notice it as well. Are you telegraphing with that front foot? I noticed that I telegraph right before the kick. This is your back stance. You're here. Don't turn your foot. Okay. I noticed that I did it at least once. From here, I turned my foot and then kicked. Right? Don't do that. You don't want your opponent to know what you're doing. So you're in your back stance here, keep that foot planted, and then strike forward with that kick. The foot will rotate as you're moving forward, but don't rotate it before you move forward. Okay? Let's go from this side. Ready? Hajime. Each. Knee. So. Yo. Wate. Ready? Each. Knee. So. Yo. Wate. Dame. Os. All right. Good? All right, let's get back to the kata again. This time, we're gonna go right back through it. We're gonna go back to slow. All right, this class is Heian Yondan focused. That's what we're gonna do. Back to the kata again, slow. All right, slow. Remember your starting point, remember your ending point. Try to get to the same spot, okay? If you have to watch me, for instance, if you're consistently off by a great deal, or you're for some reason facing the wrong direction when you finish, watch me and figure out where you're making a mistake. All right, it's going to be someplace it's going to be obvious. All right, it's going to be a landing after a kick. It's going to be not turning as much as you needed to between techniques, right? Because after you land here in this cat stance, right, you're turning, but you're not facing straight. You're facing at a 45-degree angle. You do your kick and your double punch, and then you turn back, not straight, at another 45 off of this line. Kick, punch, punch. And then you turn straight as you throw your 3 Moroto ukes. All right, so keep that in mind. Again, these are simple things that can really throw off your ending spot as compared to your beginning spot for the kata. Okay, let's go again slow. Ready? Yo, subirachi, ring, yo, hin, yo. Slow speed, your own speed and pace. Ready? Ajime. Yame. One thing I noticed is that I do make a correction step in this kata. I make a correction step because I don't have room to do the 3 Moroto ukes and then that hizageri. So I make a correction step, which could very easily throw off my beginning and ending spot, right? Yeah. So this time, I'm going to start off here. And I'm not going to make the correction step, okay? I just want to see where I end with this when I do the kata this time. All right, and you can do this with me. I don't know if you make any correction steps or anything throughout the kata, but it can make a difference. I just noticed it or just realized it, so I want to put my money where my mouth is, right? And my beginning and ending in the same spot, okay? So I've been ending here when I start here, but I'm making a correction step here, so I'm going to start out here, all right? I think I'll have room. I don't think it'll be a problem to get through the kata with starting out here, but I want to see if I end about here. All right, so where are we at? Blue square, black, black. My heels are on the line of this black square. Let's see where we end. All right, you can watch if you want, or you can go along and do the kata with me. All right, so regular speed and pace, because I don't want to shorten anything. I don't want to go slow. Regular speed and pace. Ready? Yoi. Subirachi. Ring. Yo. Hin. Yo. Haji. If you're doing it with me, yame. If you're just watching, pretty much nailed it, didn't we? About 6 inches off, I would say. So I started here, my heels on the line, and I ended here, my toes on the line. Exact same square, centered, facing same direction. All right? So keep that in mind. Again, I know I've said it probably 20 times in this one class today, but keep it in mind. Okay, it's something that you need to focus on. Because I have had students that submit videos for their tests, and like I said, they start here and they end over here. Okay, and you should be aware from the very beginning, as a white belt, that kata begins and ends facing the same direction. Kata begins and ends same spot. Okay, as close to the same spot as possible, within 1 to 2 feet, right? Because everybody has a different mobility, right? My back stance might not be as low and long as yours, right? You might be really getting into these really long and low back stances. Same thing with front stance, right? You might be really long and low. The older you get, the more you tend to stand up a little bit more for your stances, okay? So it's just something to think about, something to keep in mind, all right, when you're going through kata. And again, you're probably up to Heian Godan by now, so focus on it. All right, we'll do another class next week. Maybe we'll focus on, maybe we'll do Heian Godan. Teki Shotokan doesn't really count because you're going left and then you're going right. So typically you are going to finish in about the same spot anyway, because you're just shifting left and shifting right. But Heian Godan, there's a jump, right? Heian Godan, there's a big manji-uke, and then a turn, and then another big manji-uke, right? So next week we'll do Heian Godan, all right? So if you're not familiar yet with Heian Godan, study, okay? Start learning that kata, and next week for our intermediate class we're going to do Heian Godan, exactly like we did today, all right? So we'll do a couple of drills that we'll pull from it, and we'll do the kata several times, and we're going to check if we're facing the right direction, all right? We're going to check if our starting and ending point are about the same. Okay? Alright, let's come to center of class. Yoi! Subrachi. Right? Yoi. Seiza. Alright. Today's meditation, just meditate, right? We went through this kata several times today. If that's something you feel like you want to go over in your head, feel free to do so. Otherwise, just calm your pulse and your breathing. Walk so. Mokuso yame, sensen yure. Taze. Yoi. Subarachi. Right. Yoi. Os. Alright, students, thank you for joining me for today's class. Heian Yondan focused, a bit short, but at the same time really highly focused on this one kata, and we're going to do it again next week with Heian Godan. Till then, have a good week. Os.